وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. And there's only two more left, this one and tomorrow, and then we're finished this series. It's a 29 episode series. Unless we have a 30th night, which is hopefully it's unlikely, but Allahu Alam, it's unclear whether we're going to have 29 or 30. Just make dua tonight that London has one Eid. That's all I ask you to do. Just make a dua that London continues to have one Eid and that we don't break that norm that we've been able to adhere to for God knows how many years now. I've been here for 12 years, around 12, just over, 12 years now, and I have not witnessed Eid where two masajid were praying at different days. I am excluding some of the small centers that really don't engage with the larger community. But the larger centers have always, the Muslim Mosque and the Islamic Center and MAC and other kind of centers have always had Eid on the same day. And I hope that we don't break that trend, inshallah, this year. Inshallah ta'ala. So just make dua for that, because it's heartbreaking, honestly. Once people living right beside each other are breaking their fast on different days and having Eid on different days, it's not appropriate. So the Quranic theme that I'm going to share with you tonight is the theme of accountability. And I've talked about it a little. I talked about it a little bit during the Tazkiyah series after Fajr, more so focused on the mortality piece. But mortality and accountability come hand in hand. They are two faces to the same coin. And if you accept mortality, then you accept accountability. And if you accept accountability, then you accept mortality. And if you accept them both, you accept resurrection. So all of these things come together. The acceptance of your mortality with your accountability, with resurrection, with Yawm al-Qiyamah, it's one big package. Muslims accept it all at once. Some people accept one piece and not the other. They make peace with death, but they don't really accept accountability, or they accept accountability in dunya, but they don't believe it in Yawm al-Qiyamah. So there are different ways, or it varies in terms of how people see this. But Allahu Alam, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has explained it to his prophets alayhi salatu wasalam, and how the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam explained it to us, was that you must make peace with the fact that you are going to die at some point in the future. Maybe the far future, maybe the near future. We don't know. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you long lives with afiyah and good deeds. Allahumma ameen. Everyone here. But at some point, whether it's far away or it's near, time will elapse and your end will come. All of us will. 100 years from now, no one sitting here today will be sitting here. 100 years from now, 2021, 25, all the faces will be different. All of the faces will be different. Except maybe an infant that was just born today, maybe make it to 100 and they sit here very old and out of it. But that's the reality of how life exists. We slowly, like pieces of the domino, we fall down one after the other. And that's the inevitable reality. But attached to this inevitable reality of the loss of our lives, the fact that we are mortal and that we're finite, that we won't live forever, is that we are going to be held accountable at one point in the future as well. And really it's that accountability that you have to be worried about. It's the fact that you're going to be brought back and asked questions. We like the idea of being brought back. I can tell you that much. It actually makes accepting death much easier. The concept that you will come back. You won't cease to exist altogether. You will just exist in a different form. But the concerning part that comes with coming back or continuing to exist in different ways is the fact that there's accountability attached to it. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make this ride fully free. He's going to ask questions about how you used what He gave you. What you did with the resources that were offered to you in your life. What decisions and choices you made while you were granted the margin of freedom to make those choices and decisions. See, Yawm al-Qiyamah, you lose that. Yawm al-Qiyamah, we don't have that same degree of freedom of choice, by the way, if at all. Yawm al-Qiyamah, you want to sit down, but you can't. You want to speak up, but you can't. You want to object, but you can't. You stand there, because that's the only choice that you have. وَخَشَعَتِ الْأَصْوَاتُ لِلرَّحْمَنِ فَلَا تَسْمَعُ إِلَّا هَمْسًا. And everyone, their voices go down, because you don't have the choice anymore. Like certain aspect of your margin of freedom of choice is taken away from you. And that piece hurts, because if anything, we want more, not less. We want to have more freedom, not less freedom. Anyone who has their freedom degraded gets upset. You're walking around the streets, you're happy, and then you're thrown into jail. You're not happy anymore. Or if you're not allowed to make certain decisions, or if they deprive you from making certain choices or within your life, it's not a nice feeling. Even the smallest deprivation of freedom, the smallest restriction of your freedom can be very, very painful. Yawm al-Qiyamah, you lose a lot of it. A lot of your previous freedom of choice is not there anymore. Because that time is not the time for freedom of choice. Yawm al-Qiyamah is not a time where you get to make decisions. Yawm al-Qiyamah is where you're going to be held accountable. In dunya, it's the opposite. Today, we're not being held accountable. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, anything He sends your way, could easily be a ni'mah if you want it to be. Anything He gives you subhanahu wa ta'ala can be a blessing if you choose for it to be a blessing. If you use it and utilize it appropriately. If you persevere in the face of the difficulty that brought you, or you use gratitude to deal with the ease that came to you. Nothing that comes to you can be called punishment unless you decide to make it that way. Unless it causes you to lose your faith and lose your deen and you misuse it so it causes you punishment yawm al-qiyamah. Aside from that, everything that's given to you here in dunya, you can label it. You can label it as a ni'mah, you can label it as khair for you in your life if you just deal with it appropriately. So this time that we're spending here for the next couple of decades that we're going to be alive, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants us that, inshallah, we have the freedom of choice with very little accountability from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then yawm al-qiyamah, there's no freedom of choice and it's all accountability. And the earlier the human being is capable of accepting this reality, this fact, that you are going to be held accountable. There is someone who cares about the choices that you are making, the decisions that you are taking. There's someone who's watching. It's being recorded. It's being documented. You're going to have to explain it. You're writing a novel about yourself. You are the only author. You're the only editor. You're the choreographer. You're everything in this movie that's going to be played back yawm al-qiyamah. You're going to read it back. And you have to be able to explain why the plot was the way it was. Why the hero of this story made these decisions and didn't make other decisions. And all we can do is really ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our hisab easy. That's all we can do. Is ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to ease our hisab. And maybe to remove our hisab subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to allow us to enter Jannat and Na'im without that. But in order for that to happen, in order for that to be the case, if you hope for that to be the case, if you actually want that to be the case for yourself, where you're not held accountable at all, where you can forfeit all of that, it can be omitted for you, you can just walk right past it, then you have to live a life where all you think about, or your main concern, is the fact that you're going to be held accountable. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us in a different in hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, that I think is quite powerful. He says, لا يجتمع على عبدي أمناني ولا خوفان. Another wording of it. لا أجمع على عبدي أمنين ولا خوفين. I don't bring upon my servant 2 periods of fearfulness or 2 periods of carelessness where you can be carefree, right? I don't allow for 2 periods to exist. فإن خافني في الدنيا أمنته يوم أجمع عبادي. If he is fearful and he reveres me in dunya, then I will grant him that ease and that calmness and that certainty and that carefree mentality yawm al-qiyamah when I gather all of my servants. You feared him in dunya, meaning you were worried about your accountability all your life. Yawm al-qiyamah you get to be carefree. فَإِنْ أَمِنَنِي فِي الدُّنْيَا خَوَّفْتُهُ يَوْمَ أَجْمَعُ عِبَادِي. And if he lives carefree in dunya, then I will make sure that he's afraid on the day I gather all of my servants. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us safety and security on the day of judgment. Allahumma ameen. And in this life as well. And I chose this Quranic theme to be talked about at the end of the month, because really it's what we hope to have built for ourselves throughout the month. What you really hope that the month of Ramadan has offered you through these 28 nights now, mashallah, is that it strengthened in your core, in your heart. It strengthened the mentality or the concept of accountability. You're ready for it. You're a bit ready. You're a bit more ready today than you were yesterday. You're a bit more ready this month than you were last month. And Ramadan brings that forward, that you need to think about this. This is a reality. This is coming your way. You have to be prepared, that you're going to be held accountable. And the more you think about that, the more your choices will be different. it's impossible to equate the decisions of someone who feels or knows or assumes that they're never going to be asked about what they do, and the decisions of someone who is worried about how they're going to answer Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when they're held accountable. They're not the same. And when you see yourself as a Muslim, or you see Muslims behaving in ways that are problematic, they're making choices that lack wisdom and lack commitment and lack clarity and lack, you know that these people, yourself included, you're not thinking about the akhirah. You're not thinking about accountability. You're ignoring it. You're just drawing a blind eye. You're putting it in your blind spot so you don't have to see it. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it. We do this all the time. We ignore things that are important so we can enjoy the moment, or because we don't want to think about that. But this concept is not something you can afford to ignore. It's too powerful. The first ayah that we're going to share with you tonight, that's going to be recited in the first 4 rak'at that we will enjoy, inshaAllah ta'ala. And these surah are now well memorized, I hope, inshallah, for most people. They know these surahs. They've recited them before. I hope, again, that people know them well. From Al-Muddathir to Al-Ghashiyah. These are well-known surahs. The first one is in Surah Al-Muddathir, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ رَهِينَةٌ. Every nafs, every soul is going to be held hostage. Al-Rahina is a hostage. You can also use the word ransom to explain it if you're talking about non-living things. But if you're talking about something that's alive, then it's a hostage. I took someone as a hostage. I'm not giving it back until I get something in return for it. Every nafs is taken hostage by its deeds. It's your deeds that declare where you're going to be held. You're held hostage by your behaviors, by your choices in your life. You're held hostage by them. You want to make it to Jannah, but you're held hostage by your deeds. Now, they have to declare whether this is going to be appropriate or possible or not. Your a'mal hold you. It's interesting. It's your deeds, it's your choices that hold you back. Jannah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created it for all human beings. أَعَدَّ الْجَنَّةَ لِعِبَادِهِ. He created it for his servants, everyone. But then you can't really get access unless your deeds release you. Unless your a'mal, they release you so they can go to Jannah. If they don't release you, then you are chained and shackled, and you can't move in the direction that you want. Every nafs yawm al-qiyamah is held hostage by the choices that they made. بِمَا كَسَبَتْ. Whatever they did, whatever they attained in their lives. Al-kasb is a more general word than amal. Amal are deeds that you do. Kasb is everything. It's not just the amal, it's the intentions that you had, it's the hopes, it's the dreams, it's everything that you did or didn't do or wished you did. Kasb is a larger word. Sa'i is what you hope for the future. That's different. Sa'i is what you were trying to achieve. It was your long-term goal, right? Al-kasb is everything that follows. Sa'i and amal and fi'l, all of it comes as kasb. But he does put a caveat. There's an exception to the rule. إِلَّا أَصْحَابَ الْيَمِينَ. And this exception in the Quran you find multiple times, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will talk about something and say, وَمَا تُجْزَوْنَ إِلَّا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. And you will only be compensated based on what you used to do. إِلَّا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. Except the chosen servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You find this exception in the Quran everywhere. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about accountability. He talks about you're going to be held by what you did. And these verses are severe, they're intense, they're scary. And then he gives an exception. إِلَّا أَصْحَابَ الْيَمِينَ. No. But Ashab al-Yameen, the people who made the choices that pleased Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's not going to do that for them. He's going to omit a lot of it. He's going to just remove a lot of the sayyi'at, forgive it all quickly. Why? Because I don't want them held accountable by what they did. They're Ashab al-Yameen. They're the people they're the people who dedicated themselves to me. They're the people who were conscious of their choices. Their hearts were filled with humbleness and compassion and love for me. They tried their best. They were always seeking forgiveness for their mistakes. They were acknowledging their shortcomings. Ashab al-Yameen, don't worry about that. Everyone else held accountable, held hostage by their deeds, but not Ashab al-Yameen. فِي جَنَّاتٍ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. They'll be in paradise, they'll be in gardens and orchards upon orchards, asking one another, عَنِ الْمُجْرِمِينَ, about those who broke the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout their lives. And didn't care, never looked back, never held themselves accountable. Never questioned whether they should be doing this or not. They didn't do it. What do you mean? مَا سَلَكَكُمْ فِي سَقَرٍ. They'll ask the question, why are you there? Why are you in Saqar? Why are you in this horrible place of blazing flames and excruciating pain. Why are you there? مَا سَلَكَكُمْ فِي سَقَرَ. What sent you down here? What path did you take in life that made you end up here? قالوا لم نكن من المصلين ولم نكن نطعم المسكين وكنا نخوض مع الخائضين وكنا نكذب بيوم الدين حتى أتانا اليقين. We weren't amongst those who prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We weren't amongst those who fed the needy and the poor. We were of those who just went with the flow. You know, نخوض مع الخائضين. Whatever was popular, whatever trended that month, whatever seemed to be the norm of people. I'm not swimming against the current. Why would I do that? What's popular, what's trendy? We stick to that. It's just easier. I have no real personality, and I have no real any hope or reason to take a stand or to strengthen myself or choose a lane. I'm just going to go with the majority. Put your heads amongst all the heads and say, inshallah, my head, I don't get beheaded. Everyone else, my head is amongst a million heads. Yawm al-Qiyamah, you come alone. That's why you come alone. He removes you from this safe environment that you're in. Leave them all behind. But my friend, no, leave them. My dad, my mom, no, leave them all. My children, leave them all. Come stand here, alone. Knowing that you're going to do that, make sure that you're prepared to make your own arguments for why you made your personal choices. وَكُنَّا نُكَذِّبُ بِيَوْمِ الدِّينِ. That's the piece that I'm pointing out here to you today. And we refused to accept that there was going to be a day for accountability. We refused. We kept on rejecting the fact that I'm going to be held accountable. We told them, it's Yawm al-Din, a day where you have to pay your debts. You have to pay your debts. That's what Yawm al-Din really means. That this is what you owe. What you owe is now coming to the moment of debt. The moment of owing is now. Your dues are owed now. You have to pay them now. You owe a lot, pay it today. No, I don't want installments for the next 5 million years. Today, you're going to pay it all back today. Yawm al-Din is when you're going to pay it back. If you can't pay it back, then كُلُّ نَفْسٍ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ رَهِينٌ. You'll be held hostage by what you've done. Unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declares you Ashab al-Yamin. May Allah declare us amongst Ashab al-Yamin. Allahumma ameen. The second verse that I want to share with you, that we will hear, in surat Al-Naba, a surah that's called literally the news. If you watch the news, you grew up, your dad ruined your evening by turning on to the news instead of your cartoons. And you had to sit there while your dad watched the news, while he was given the report of what's happening in the world. And we receive news from a lot of different outlets in this life. A lot of people tell us things. And it's news, we're receiving news. So certain media outlets, reporting agencies, journalists, Facebook, Instagram, our friends, your aunt who lives in Honolulu who sends you all the messages, people who report stuff to you, who tell you things and keep you informed. But then this surah tells us the news according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here's what you need to know. Here's what you need to know. Here's the news as far as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is concerned. And He tells us a story subhanahu wa ta'ala. He begins with the initial moment of creation. Moving down until the creation of the human being and the life that you live, coming down to this ayah over here. Jaza'an wifaqa. Jaza'an wifaqa. You'll be compensated according to what you deserve. Jaza'an wifaqa. Whatever it is that you're going to be given fil akhirah will be from the essence of what you did. When Jibreel alayhi salam came to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, probably for the first time without wahi. Like he came to the Prophet alayhi salam for the first time in his life without bringing wahi. He did it after it a few times, but that was the first time the Prophet alayhi salam received Jibreel with no wahi. It was 10 years into his relationship with him. Every time Jibreel came, there was always Quran or communication that was going to be meaningful to the ummah or to him alayhi salatu wasalam. But this time, he came back for a different reason. He came alayhi salatu wasalam to talk about someone who was passing away. Sayyida Khadija al-Kubra alayhi salam was passing away. al-Mu'mineen. Khadija had stood by the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam for 25 years. And she stayed with him during the boycott of the Shi'b, of the clan of Bani Hashim, even though she didn't have to, out of willingness to stick with her husband. And she got sick at the end of it. Malnourished, just malnutrition. She got very sick. And after the boycott ended, she couldn't seem to get back on her feet again. And she got more and more ill. And she was on her way out. And this was probably the saddest moment of the Prophet ﷺ's life. He never stopped talking about her ﷺ throughout the rest of his life. But Jibreel would come down and he would say, Ya Rasulullah, أقرئ خديجة من ربها السلام. Give Khadija salam from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specifically. فخديجة didn't know what to say. She said, Ya Rasulullah, ما أقول. فقال قولي اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام وعلى جبريل السلام. So she responded that way. Oh Allah, you are as-salam, you are the source of peace and security. And all peace and security come from you. And upon Jibreel as-salam, since he brought it with him. So what does Jibreel want to do? فقال وبشرها وبشرها في الجنة بقصر من قصب لا صخب فيه ولا نصب. And tell her that awaiting her is a palace in Jannah that is made from qasab. Qasab is a type of hajar kareem, of diamond, that is hollow on the inside. Like it's like an egg shell. Right? It's hollow on the inside. They call it qasab. And they call it qasab because that's what a sugar cane looks like. It's hollow on the inside. Sugar canes are empty on the inside. So they call this qasab. لا صخب فيه ولا نصب. There is no loud noises in it, and there is no tiredness. And of course, she passed away that night, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala delivered what he promised her. Now the point here I want to make you is that I always reflected on why this was what she was told, alayhi salam, why she got this from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the diamond, the qasab, look like? It's a hollow with rock around it. It looks like a ghar, right? It looks like a cave. The same cave that she would walk up towards once a week to bring her husband food and nourishment, and allow him to reflect on whatever he was reflecting upon. Imagine if she was the type of wife who wouldn't let him do that, alayhi salatu wasalam. You understand how quickly we'd all disappear from here? He would just like that not exist, this whole thing. If Khadija decided to make his life a living hell because he was doing this, alayhi salatu wasalam, he was going and reflecting and contemplating fi ghar Hira, Jibreel wouldn't have, the whole story would have been different. But she not only was okay with it, she supported it. And she walked, taking him food, and she sat with him, alayhi salam, and actually contributed and helped him as he did this, and then left him, radiyallahu anha wa ardaha, back and forth. Al-Sakhab, her house was filled with children. She had her previous children from marriages, and she had the children of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and she had Ali, and she had Ja'far, and she had Zayd, and she had all in her house. This was a very busy and loud home that she was taking care of, radiyallahu anha. So Allah told her, I'm going to give you a qasr from qasab. Every time you see it, you'll be reminded of the of where you used to, of your contribution. And there'll be no loud noises there. And there'll be no tiredness. You'll be resting. When the Prophet ﷺ met Ibrahim ﷺ fi as-sama' as-sabi'ah, when he went in the beautiful journey of the Mi'raj, he would meet Ibrahim ﷺ, and the way he would meet him is that Ibrahim ﷺ was sitting and he was reclining back like this, ila al-bayt al-ma'mur, which is the equivalent of the Kaaba in the seventh sky, right? So really, the scholars would say, and the reason that that's he was always going to see him is because that's what took the most out of him, alayhi salam, in his life, was reviving the Kaaba, was making sure that he left his family there so that that would become a place that is habitable, because it was not a habitable place before. He had to leave his wife and his child in order for Zamzam to be found again, and for Jurhum to find it, and for them to build a place for people to live there. Then he had to come back, alayhi salam, and spend hours upon hours upon hours rebuilding the Kaaba, perfecting exactly the way it would look and the way it would be. So through all of that effort, all of that fatigue, and all of the energy that he put towards building the Kaaba, Yawm al-Qiyamah, he sits and he puts his back on Bayt al-Ma'mur, alayhi salam. Al-jaza'u min jins al-amal. Your compensation of your rewards will come from the essence of what you did. They will be similar to the effort that you put in and the struggle that you had. Jaza'un wifaqa. Everyone will be compensated accordingly. No more and no less. No less for sure. No more, well, there's some debate there. No more is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses for you. Why you're here tonight, and why you'll be here inshallah ta'ala tomorrow night, and hopefully all the nights after that, is because you're hoping that it's not jaza'un wifaqa for you. You're hoping that, Ya Rab, no, I don't want to be compensated accordingly. Accordingly is not good for me. I don't have good quality merchandise. What I'm selling is not very good. it falls to pieces pretty quickly. It's not high quality, and it's not high quantity either. I'm not proud of it. I'm offering it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, hoping no one notices what it is, because it's not that great. If I'm compensated accordingly to what it's worth, then I'm in trouble. So the reason that you show up every night, and the reason you stand for Taraweeh, and your feet are hurting, and your back is hurting, and your head hurts, and your neck, and your shoulders, and every aspect of your existence is hurting, and the reading that you'll go and lie for an hour, down for an hour, and then come back again for tahajjud, and do the same thing, and you'll make dua once, and twice, and 3 times, and 4 times a day, for 30 days straight, and you're fasting, it's because you're hoping Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not compensate you accordingly. That it's not jaza'an wifaqa for you. That He does something different. That He takes each hasana and He times it by 100,000 and 700. And that He takes every good deed and He magnifies it and He purifies it and He cleans it from all of the diseases of the heart that exist in it. That He takes all of the sayyat and He forgives them and He pardons them and He removes them, subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what you're hoping for. Because if it's going to be accordingly, then none of us are going to do very well. Maybe you do well, I'm not going to do well. Yawm al-Qiyamah, my only hope is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala smothers me with His compassion and mercy. That I bathe in His mercy Yawm al-Qiyamah. That I just spend the entire of eternity just enjoying the waves of His mercy hitting me, subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it. Because that's really all I can hope for. I have nothing to show. I have nothing to bring to Him and say, I have no argument to make. I have no argument to make. Accountability is the concept that we have to learn. But then when you think about it for a while, that's really not what you're going to go with. You're not going to go with that Yawm al-Qiyamah saying, oh, no, I'm ready. I have my arguments ready. I have everything. My book is well. No. You're going to come saying, I have nothing ready. And I know that. And I've known that all of my life, which is why I'm humble. Which is why my heart is in a position of sincerity and humility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because I know that what I have is not worth offering. It's not worth discussing. It's not worth even bringing and showing Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, but I'm hoping in His mercy subhanahu. This is the mentality you're coming to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with, because you know you're going to be held accountable. You're hoping that He doesn't make it too hard. Like if you're going to come for an exam and the teacher's there, the teacher can choose. I do this all the time. I can choose if I want you to fail or if you're going to pass. Any student who comes and wants to be examined orally, I choose if they pass or if they fail. I can ask them beforehand, you want to pass? All right, here are the questions. You want to fail? Ala rasi. I will fail you so bad you'll get 0 out of this. Even a teacher can do that. Even a teacher who knows his subject well and knows what people, you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you come to Him, knowing that you're accountable, you come with an inkisar, with a certain degree of humility towards Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. The final verses that we will hear tonight in the last set 4 rak'at, inshallah ta'ala. In Surah Al-Mutaffifeen, He asks a question subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَلَا يَظُنُّ أُولَٰئِكَ أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ لِيَوْمٍ عَظِيمٍ يَوْمَ يَقُومُ النَّاسُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. So, at the beginning of this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Al-Mutaffifeen, the people who play double standards. They will make sure that they get all of their rights, and they will deprive you of yours. Scales, when it's their turn to take what's theirs, they will make sure it's perfect, that the scale is properly balanced so they can get all of what's theirs. But when it's your turn to take your rights, they will rig the scales, and they will give you less, and try to give you nothing at all. Mutaffifeen, they play double standards. It's the world that we live in. That's why we are treated this way. Because we're dealing with people who are mutaffifeen, who don't believe in equality, who don't see us to be equal to them, that we deserve as much rights as many rights as they have. Or else how would you explain the last 17 months? Is there any other way for you to explain what's happened aside from that? What other explanation is there? What other example is there of a country bombing residential areas, people watching children being pulled from under the rubble, infants, newlyborns? When has this happened in modern history in this form? When was this ever even possible to imagine or fathom that this would go on, not for a week or 2 or 3, but for over a year, ongoing, just dropping hundreds of thousands of TNT and bombs and fire upon people, upon children and women, and the discussion be laid back and the focus to be on the right to exist and the right to, what about this kid? Wallahi, the life of one human being is more valuable than, one human being's life taken unjustly is wallahi more valuable than the world and everything in it. Not 60,000 and 70,000 and numbers that my brain doesn't fully understand. the population of London has been wiped out twice. The population of Muslims in London have been wiped out في Gaza twice, 2 times over. Once, and then we came back and wiped us out again. For that to be acceptable, the reason is the question that he asks here, subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَلَا يَظُنُّ أُولَٰئِكَ أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ? Do those people not think or not believe or not know that they're going to be resurrected and brought back again? Do they not know they're going to be held accountable for what they're doing? مَبْعُوثُونَ لِيَوْمٍ عَظِيمٍ, to a day of great concern, of heavy concern, of difficulties. عظيم, it's hard. يَقُولُ الْكَافِرُونَ هَذَا يَوْمٌ عَسِرٌ. This is a hard day. This is how the kafir feels that day. He looks around and says, this is not going to go well. This is not going to be easy. He just looks around and he thinks about it. No. I wasn't ready for this. I don't know what I was doing. يَوْمَ يَقُومُ النَّاسُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. When people stand and they speak to their Lord, to the Lord of everything, when we are held to Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. We stand in front of Him and He asks us what we did with our lives, what choices we made, how we responded, what our hopes were, what our aspirations, what we dedicated our time towards, our wealth, our youth, what our hopes and goals were for our families, for our children, what we were trying to do, what were we trying to do with our time here. And if you don't have a good answer for that, even if you didn't do well, but make sure you have a good answer. Make sure at least you can establish that I tried. Well, I tried. I failed. I know I failed. I was not good. I fell short and I lost focus. But I tried. This was my goal. This is what I wanted. Make dua and explain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that despite your shortcomings, despite your distraction, that this is really what you want. You truly want this. You truly want to be one of His servants who are dedicated to Him, who are committed to Him, who are sincere for Him. Ask Him subhanahu wa ta'ala to make you from ibadihi al-mukhlasin. That He chooses you, that He plucks you out of the group, and He chooses you for Himself. And that He cleanses your heart. And He purifies you and makes you a sincere servant to Him. وَيَصْطَنِعُكَ لِنَفْسِهِ وَيَصْنَعُكَ عَلَىٰ عَيْنِهِ وَيُلْقِي عَلَيْكَ مَحَبَّةً مِّنْهُ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى. That He makes you for Himself, and He does it through Himself, and that He throws upon you His love, and that you stay under His eye at all times, subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what you're hoping for, knowing that you're not doing well. And that's what accountability is. And this is what Ramadan is for. It's to remind us of this, remind us of what is it that we're headed towards, how far off we're going to be in terms of the ability to make our arguments. So the only way we can come is humble to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, begging Him for His mercy and hoping that He is able to see that something that we did is worthy of some degree of credit, some degree of praise from Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the khatam is tomorrow, so inshallah ta'ala, we have one more night of listening to me blabber away, and then we're done. I've invited tonight, similarly to Hikmah, we have an organization in the city, it's CMPAC, if I'm not mistaken. Is that how it's said? Yeah. And Jazakumullah khair, they are putting a lot of effort towards educating the Muslim community on what they need to do from a political perspective, and in terms of our engagement and our advocacy. And I've asked them to come and speak to us today, and we're blessed with the presence of, yes, after Isha, ya Sheikh. After Isha, inshallah. Yeah, don't worry, I remember. We have to nishhad minkum tonight a little bit. It'll be quick, it'll be 2 minutes, don't worry. So you can ignore me for them if you like, it's fine. So I've invited them and Dr. Nabil Sultan, barakallah fi, has blessed us with his presence. I'm going to ask him to come up and share a few words with the congregation, inshallah, before Adhan al-Isha. Jazahullah khairan wa barakallahu fi. Can we have a microphone, a proper microphone?
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Salatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Brothers and sisters, I'm here to tell you about this new effort from CMPAC. Hopefully the QR code, Khalid, you'll be able to get up. So as we witness the genocide ongoing in Gaza again, we know how difficult this has been on our community and on all of you. And one of the most difficult things that have been dealing with this genocide is our feeling of unable to respond, unable to do anything. And a number of organizations in this country have come together, national organizations have come together to say we will do something. The reality in Canada is that out of the 360 odd ridings in this country, about 40 or more, 40 to 50 of them the deciding vote is by Muslims and by large Muslim communities in different parts of the country. And so the major national organizations, CMPAC, NCCM, locally, Hikmah, the Canadian Muslim Vote, all of these organizations came together and said, at a time when people are going to be voting based on economics and based on Donald Trump and his tariffs and making this election based on different reasons, we as a Muslim community are going to make it on Gaza. We are going to make it on the matter of principle, and we're going to let the political parties know that that's how we are voting. It doesn't matter to us, the economy, it doesn't matter anything else, doesn't matter if innocent people are being slaughtered in Gaza. And so this is what this effort is about. It's about all of us. I'm going to ask those of you who are willing to put up your phones and scan that QR code. It will take you 1 minute to register. When you register on this link, you will be informed of the strategy for each riding in this country, for each riding that the coalition of organizations will be looking at. And it will be, a recommendation will be made to you for your riding, who you should vote for based on that principle of asking people for justice in Gaza. So I ask you to do it. I ask you to take a minute now to do this and to stay informed, stay up to date. Once you join this, once you register, you will be told near the time of the election, which will happen in about a month or so, what the recommendation is. Of course, you can vote for whoever you choose to, but the idea is for us to have a united front as a Muslim community and to make it clear to the politicians that Gaza for us is the priority. At the end of the day, what we are trying to do, brothers and sisters, all of us, is have something to say for ourselves on the day of judgment when we stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will all stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will all be asked about what we did in response to Gaza, but in response to this genocide. It is true that we as a Muslim community here in Canada don't have all the solutions, don't have all the power. We can't solve the problem in Gaza, but we can do something. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not burden a soul except with what it can bear, but what you can bear, you must do. What you can bear, you must do. So if you can donate, you must donate. And if you can register and be part of this movement, you can do that. And if you can join a protest, you can do that. So let us make sure we do these things so that when we stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say, we had our shortcomings, but this, Ya Allah, this is what I was able to do. And I did it. And maybe on that day, this will be enough for us to save us from that accountability that Sheikh Adnan was just telling us about. So Jazakumullah khair. It will be up for 1 more minute. It will only take a few seconds to register. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.
So we will share this QR code inshallah elsewhere as well. If you didn't get to use it tonight, we'll make sure that we put it up in different parts of our social media. We'll go back to the verses, but we'll put it back up again inshallah at the end of Taraweeh, so you can scan it if you did not get a chance. This is important. This is a time where people should educate themselves, learn, make sure that you listen and then engage. This is the time to engage in this civil duty, and it's something that it's one of the tools that we have as Muslims. We are capable of applying pressure by doing this, and for us not to do it, I think it's a part of our accountability. We're going to be asked about this, whether we had something that we could have done, we could have applied pressure, and then we chose not to, and then we complained about an outcome. And I think that's something that even if you don't believe that it makes that much of a difference, it'll make a small difference. Any difference matters. Every small difference matters. It's actually the small differences coming together that make a big one at the end. So make sure you take some time and look at that. Jazakumullah khair. Again, the khatam is going to be tomorrow. So just keep that in mind and try to carpool, please, tomorrow. Try to carpool. Please carpool. Please carpool. Don't. If you're one person, don't come and make sure you find some people to carpool, because the parking every year is very difficult, and usually the place fills up really quickly. So if you do want to get a spot front, I'm going to ask that the first row is left empty tomorrow, so that the shuyukh and the imams can actually get up front. Otherwise, inshallah ta'ala, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the blessing of reaching tomorrow and reaching the khatam, and Allah grant us the blessing of Ramadan. Subhanallah bihamdik, la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakumullah khair.